In the narrow streets of a dusty town, surrounded by brick walls and hum of rickshaws, stood a small worn-out house with no gate, no tiles, and no paint. Its roof leaked in monsoon, its walls had cracks, but inside lived a boy with eyes full of dreams. Jack. Jack was the only child of his parents. His father worked on a construction site under the burning sun, lifting bricks and mixing cement. His hands were calloused, but his dreams for his son were soft and big. His mother sat cross-legged every day behind a sewing machine, stitching blouses and school uniforms for pennies. At night, the family sat on a mat, shared simple meals, and laughed together. Father would often say, "Son, hard work always pays off. Just don't give up." Jack nodded his head silently. Jack had no toys, but he had books, some torn, some borrowed, some gifted by his mother's customers. His world was small, but his dreams were big. When Jack turned 10, he got admission in the town's school. His uniform was stitched by his mother, slightly faded but clean. He carried an old school bag and an old lunchbox, which was mostly empty. From the very first day, things were not easy for Jack. His classmates came from better off families. They had neat uniforms, fancy stationery, packed lunches, and polished shoes. Jack had none. They called him names. "You, look at his shoes." "Jack, why don't you eat your lunch?" "Oh, wait, your lunchbox is empty." They used to throw paper balls at him, pushed him from the lunch benches, and whisper jokes behind his back. During breaks, when other boys played or traded comic books, Jack would sit quietly under a tree, pretending to be busy reading. Sometimes he would cry quietly in the bathroom, but he never complained to his parents. One afternoon, as Jack was sitting alone in the playground, staring at the grass, a shadow fell over him. It was Jack's teacher. His teacher sat beside him. Teacher asked, "Why are you always alone, Jack?" Jack tried to smile, but failed. After a pause, he whispered, "They don't like me, sir. My clothes, my lunchbox. They laugh." Teacher gently touched his head and asked, "Do you know, Jack, why the moon shines in the dark?" Jack looked up, puzzled. Teacher said, "Because moon never waits for light. It becomes the light itself." Tears welled in Jack's eyes. That was the first time someone saw him not as a poor boy, but as someone worth believing in. This changed Jack entirely. He started waking up early, helping his mother thread the machine before studying under a dim lamp. He stayed late at school, borrowed books from the library, and practiced maths on paper. At night, while his father rubbed his tired feet, Jack would share what he learned that day. His parents watched him with pride, eyes shining with silent tears. Even when his friends from the village would come to invite him play outside, he would refuse them, saying, "I don't want to play outside and waste my valuable time. I would rather stay at home, help my mom, and study." Months passed. Jack topped every test in class. When the final results came, the announcement echoed in the school's assembly hall. Jack got first position in the exams. The very boys who once mocked him now looked at him with surprise and maybe a little shame. With his good results, Jack got a scholarship in a prestigious university. His parents gave him their savings, just enough for a bus ticket and a month's food. With a kiss on his forehead and prayers in their heart, they sent him to the city. City's life was hard, rents were high, and food was expensive. So Jack found a job at a hotel. He served delicious food to the customers. Often he napped on buses, ate leftovers, and wore the same pair of shoes for 2 years. But he never missed an exam, never skipped a class, never let his grades drop. Even when exhausted, he would whisper to himself, "One day, things will change." By the time Jack graduated, he was at the top of his class again. One day during campus recruitments, a company visited the university. Jack, in his faded blazer and borrowed tie, gave his interview with calm confidence. A week later, he received the call that changed his life forever. "Congratulations, Mr. Jack. You have been hired." Jack was so happy. Jack's first job came with a decent salary, but he didn't stop there. He worked harder, solved problems, and slowly rose through the ranks. In just 5 years, Jack became the manager of the company. He got a corner office, a luxury car, and even a small apartment for his parents in the city. He often visited schools, gave motivational speeches, and supported poor students just like he once was. One winter morning, Jack received a wedding invitation. It was from one of the boys who used to bully him in school. Jack smiled, not with bitterness, but with peace. He attended the wedding in a tailored suit, arriving in his luxury car. As he walked in, laughter paused. Conversations stopped. His old classmates were now struggling with average jobs. Stared at Jack in disbelief. "Is that Jack?" one whispered. "The same boys who threw paper balls now extended hesitant hands. At dinner, one of them said, "Jack, you really made it." Jack smiled and replied softly, "I became successful despite being bullied. In fact, I became successful because of it. Your laughter became fuel for my success, and today I thank you for it." Silence followed. A few lowered their heads. A few apologized. But Jack didn't came for revenge. He came to remind them and himself that how far one can go with hard work and belief. Today, Jack speaks at schools, mentors young kids from poor families, and funds scholarships. He often says, "You don't need expensive clothes to carry dignity. You don't need a big lunch to dream big. And you don't need people to believe in you. You only need to believe in yourself." And now, when Jack looks in the mirror, he no longer sees the poor boy from the playground. He sees a star that refused to be ignored.